couple sacks, couple pressures, got off to a really quick start there in the first quarter. What were you seeing that you were kind of able to exploit there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a good game plan. I felt we had a really good week of preparation coming into it. And, on play two, a lot of credit to Jonah for he has like some freedom to be in a 4 and a 5 based on what he's feeling from the offense and what he's getting. And, when him sliding out to a 5 makes it a tough protection to look when I'm also rushing off the edge there. So he kind of occupies that tackle and allows me to kind of come free. But, that's one of those things where there's a lot of things that go into a defense, and that was one of those things that worked out in my favor. And I just want to make sure he gets credit for that because he gets a lot of help, or he helped me out there. But no, I think we had a good game plan coming in, and through the first 37 snaps or whatever it was, I thought we played really, really well. And then there was obviously stuff after that we need to clean up and figure out. And but no, I think we had a good job starting fast.
Yeah, what stood out to you when you watched that fourth quarter film yesterday?
I think there's always just things you got to clean up, and it's complementary football. That's always what we talk about, and certain situations where we can be a little bit better, a little bit quicker, and some of our reads, some of our run fits, some of our hits. But it's just learning to play complementary football with everybody, and there were certainly opportunities for us as a defense to put that game away. And that's what we can continue to control. And that's what, our mindset is coming into this next week, is when those opportunities come up to be able to execute.
Thanks, Michael.
Jordan.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this today.
Yep.
This many games in and practices and all of that, how would you at this point describe the identity of the defense, and has that maybe evolved or changed since when you guys first got here?
I don't think it's changed. I think, our entire mindset from the get-go has just been growth. We knew coming into OTAs and coming into this season that we were going to have a lot of young guys and guys playing a lot more than they had, previously. And, I think, in the 21 Super Bowl year, we just had, an entire defense of guys that had played a lot of ball, and this year was completely new. And, we knew that coming into it, that guys are going to have to grow up quickly, and guys are going to need to grow and learn and, find their roles and be able to define their roles. And, one thing I will say about the defense is, I think we're all really proud of the growth that has come. And, but this isn't, there's no real moral victories. Like, at the end of the day, we do have to be able to get the job done. And, so for us to continue to grow and for us to be able to fix the problems that have come up, and, in the course of a football game, there will be 10, 15 snaps that really are the critical ones, and, continue for us as a defense to be on the right side of those 10 or 15.
To that point on growth, how has Byron Young embodied that identity that you just described?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. Just him coming in from OTAs and getting comfortable with the defense. And, and especially in OTAs, we do a good job about putting kind of everybody in every role so that they learn everything about the defense. And then when we get into the season, things get a lot more specific, and guys kind of carve out roles. And, I think he's done an awesome job of figuring out his role. I mean, he's lightning fast. I think he hit like 20 miles an hour during that game. So, that's a tool that he's going to have, and he's going to be really good at it. And guy works hard. He's always in there in the weight room working. And so, he's done a really good job about being a rookie coming in and, growing up quickly and becoming a professional really, really fast. So it's been awesome.
Yeah. Obviously you guys never want to be in a situation where the end is and the outside linebackers are like trailing the receiver down the field and being the one to push them out of bounds, but you can't change it. Obviously it happened already. So when you guys are going back and watching it, is there anything that sticks out, like a kind of like, oh man, he's really moving? That's the guy who ends up getting down the field.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I know there was a couple in the Eagles game, and there was even some last week where, you just see his closing speed. And when he opens up the taps and he's at full stride, like he's as fast as just about anybody on the field. And when he gets himself in gear, like, he's playing at a different speed. So, especially for him, like that's going to be one of his biggest assets, is that he does have that insane closing speed. And as he learns to continue to use that, he's going to continue to make a lot of plays for us.
Thanks, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Stu.
Mike, just wanted to ask you about your experience playing outside linebacker this season. I mean, obviously you had some bank reps from last year, but How do I guess those experiences compare, and where do you feel like you've maybe grown, and what are you still, I guess, learning and trying to get down as you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, compared to last year, I sort of got the accelerated learning edition where, it was like, we got to teach you this entire defense in about a week here. And they did a great job about, trying to give me, put me in situations where they know I can be, successful and, get me up to speed as fast as possible. But this year, especially, I think it's, at least for me, I feel like I'm learning a lot more detail into how the positions being played. And, I feel like almost every single week there's, certain things, whether it be the times I'm dropping into coverage or just certain run fits or maintaining edges on sift blocks and, things that I'm learning. And it's more, you can talk about it on film and watch it on film, but until you actually feel what that feels like in live action at full speed against guys that are trying to actually do it, it just takes time and reps, and for me, it's getting comfortable being, the absolute edge of the defense and, just learning what some of those things look like in live action. But, essentially it is very similar of, even my transition from being like the inside 3 tech to the outside, a lot of the run fits are very similar. And the way we structure our defense is we can move guys to a lot of different spots because Aaron Donald's so dynamic and he can play pretty much anywhere that when they install the defense and then we install our stuff, they teach you conceptually. And so that way they can kind of plug and play guys based on matchups. And then, so when I was going through it and learning at the 3 tech, you're not just completely oblivious to what the outside linebackers are doing because, defenses, you need all 11 guys because there's 11 different run fits every time they run the ball. And so when you're talking about how to shut down run games, you need to know what everybody's job is.
And then just as a quick follow-up to that, you addressed it a little bit in that response, but what have you gotten down that's maybe, things that you've expected and what are some things that maybe you didn't expect when it came to learning and playing this position full time?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the coverage stuff's all still new to me. And, I don't know how much longer I got to really keep saying that because, we're 7 games in now, but, there's still certain looks that you got to learn. And, offenses are, NFL playbooks, especially on the offensive side, they're pretty big and open, so they can attack you a lot of different ways. And it's getting comfortable, solving knowing your rules and understanding conceptually what the defense is doing, which means that when the offense throws something at you that you maybe haven't seen in practice or they haven't run and it's installed specifically for that week, being able to solve problems on the run. And, that's what I have really enjoyed about this season is, when you're out there and, when you're really confident about your rules and, how the position's supposed to be played and how the coverage is supposed to be played, you can figure a lot of things out on the run and you start to get an idea of this is kind of what they're trying to do. And, if you can get a beat on that, that helps you play a little faster.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll wrap with you, Gary.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
You're a little quiet.
Okay.
Gary, we can't hear you.
At all?
There we go.
There you go.
Now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thanks. Hey, so we aren't film experts, or at least I'm not, and so a lot of ways writers and fans measure you guys is by stats, and so I'm just wondering, as well as you might have been playing, the first part of the season, were you frustrated at all that you weren't, racking up sacks in that column?
I mean, you're always kind of thinking about it, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that the stat book may not necessarily show. And so more important to me is when we step into the film room on Monday and, we get our grade sheet and we get a look through is, what I really care about is good consistency over time. And as the season progresses, are you being more consistent and, playing well and doing your assignment within the framework of the defense? So I'm never going to be a guy to just completely look at the stat sheet and looking at things and being and have that be the metric that I base on how I play. I want to know that when a defense is called, did I do my job on that play, to help our defense be successful. And that's all that really matters. Like at the end of the day, it is a team sport, and how many sacks you get doesn't like, you don't win the game by having more sacks than the other team. You win the game by making sure that their offense doesn't score as many points as our offense does. And so us as a defense, the 11 of us need to make sure that their offense doesn't score points. And so it's more important to be consistent and reliable at the edge position, and make sure that as a group of 11, we can shut everything down. So no, like the stats part, they're nice, and it's what everybody likes to talk about, and it's an easy thing to grab. And it's the same thing with like PFF numbers and all that stuff. It makes it easy to just like grab that number, but for the most part, we care about how we grade out internally, and how we think we played in our room.
And can you kind of take us through what's that like though to have a game, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you got a sack their first series, you forced to fumble the second, third series you're racking up another sack. What was that like for you, kind of just emotionally making a play every time you were on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it is when you sometimes have those games where immediately right off the jump, like you have one of those splash plays, and then the adrenaline starts pumping, and that like helps settle you in the zone. And I know a lot of guys, like they like to take that like first hit during the warm-up, so it kind of like shocks the system and wakes everything up. And yeah, no, it like every single week, everybody's trying to start as fast as possible, and when you do, I think that brings a lot of energy and momentum into the defense. And and it sparks something for the offense, and for us to start the game 3 and out, that's awesome. So yeah, those plays definitely get you going really fast, and if anything, it helps settle you into the game a lot earlier, which is always nice.